You were listening to chartingwealth.com for Tuesday, the 17th of April, 2018. The trader journals are ready for purchase. They're about 90, I think they're 91 pages, 3 months worth of journals for you. What do they contain? Well, each journal contains daily market worksheets for every day of the week, except, of course, for Monday, which is the weekly market worksheet. They start off with that weekly market worksheet. And, of course, lots of trade worksheets in there for you to work through the trades that you do. The journals are for sale and available. There'll be a link in the email that goes out to all of our subscribers. You can also go to the website, chartingwealth.com, and find the links there on the daily postings. Also, those of you who are YouTube subscribers, you can find it on the YouTube channel under the copy there. We are very happy and proud to present that to you. Also, Charting Wealth, the book. We've already gotten it back from the editors. We're now doing the layouts. You can pre-order the book. Also, links are available there. You guys know we've been doing this for a few years now. We run no ads on our channel. This is the first time that we've actually started to recoup some of the thousands and thousands that we have spent to bring you all of this information. We need your support. You can also donate there. For people who donate $1 a day, $30 a month, we will have a special training just for our patrons once a month. So please help us as we continue to try to fund the important work we do here at chartingwealth.com. Enough said about the money stuff. Let's jump into the real money. We're going to jump into the S&P 500. What do we see going on? Up for the day, 0.82%. The Nasdaq 100 up 0.76%. TLT bonds up 0.03%. And gold up 0.14%. 0.14%. Let's jump into S&P 500. What do we see? We see the price percent oscillators going flat. First day of the latest weekly candle. So far, we have a green up candle that's forming a nice strong up candle after a doji. Remember what we told you about what the doji meant. It meant indecision tending up after all that strong down movement. Derivative oscillator continues to bleed off downward momentum. Like we said, price percent oscillator appears to be going flat, and we see up movement so far. First day of the week in price, as we dig a little deeper, look a little closer on that 2-day chart, it is crossing over. Now remember, on Thursday we had the latest candle. Friday and Monday are represented by this one. So it is a crossover going up. We will note that. We will move the blue crossover line over. We'll also reassign our arrow. We will move that arrow into the up position, and it's just that easy. We also can redraw our trend line. And again, we like to start from where the new trend changes over, but you've got so much up movement prior to this, and we've got a nice, pretty much connecting 3 candles going up. Derivative oscillator and price percent oscillator flipped at the same time, which is always a strong sign for a flipping. That's on the 2-day chart, and we see that the 4-hour chart rotated over going up back in the morning on Wednesday. The 4th went up for about a day and a half down, and then since then it's pretty much been tracking up. Price movement is above the 2-day trend line. So we'll continue to keep our eye on the S&P 500 and look for a trade as soon as something presents itself. Remember, we still have that downward momentum and that downward weight of the weekly trend line being down, the weekly trend being down, and we'll continue to watch that. Now, what's happening with the Qs? QQQ also had 3 prior weeks of strong down movement until, of course, we saw things level out with a spinning top. Doesn't mean as much indecision as a doji, but again, tending up. And of course, we've seen that happen first day of the latest 2-day candle. Price percent oscillator gone flat. And we've really just seen the derivative oscillator bottom out back on the 6th. And we see now that it is losing downward momentum. As we look at the 2-day chart, what do we see? We see it moving up toward a crossing. Hasn't happened yet. we told you about what we've been experimenting with on our 2-hour chart, just sort of following changes in the price percent oscillator and how that has been affected, and just trying to really find bottoms and then really lock in decent trends. We like this 2-hour chart when it works, but it can get a lot of interference in there, and these lines we're finding are helping us really locate and find sustained trends. So again, just a little experiment. We encourage you to experiment all the time. Remember, the trick is to make money, right, my friends? That's what we're looking to do. What do we see going on, of course, on this 4-hour chart, just to wrap things up, is it did blast up in the morning and the afternoon, up 0.76%. We do see the derivative oscillator losing momentum as the price percent oscillator continues to head up. So we'll continue to track things on the Qs, that is the Nasdaq 100. Next we go to TLT, 20-year bonds, with that weekly vertical crossover going up back on the 29th. We continue to see the price percent oscillator move up along with the derivative oscillator, even though price is really gone flat to down. So that's interesting. The week started off with a red spinning top, means indecision tending down. It is interesting to see our indicators in opposition to that. As we look a little closer and dig into the 2-day chart, derivative oscillator losing major momentum, price percent oscillator flat, heading up just a wee bit, and we can see that this latest 2-day candle has actually broken through our weekly trend line. Not a good sign for sustained movement. Like we said, though, was an up day, and again, this 2-day candle represents, of course, 2 days of movement. That's Friday and Monday. See what the 4-hour candle shows us. Well, it shows us down movement in the morning with up movement in the afternoon on our Heikin Ashi candlesticks. Downward momentum increased in the morning, but reduced in the afternoon on the derivative oscillator. Price percent oscillator gone flat. So again, keep your eye on things. If we see a good, strong crossover, we had sort of a fake out on that last one back on the 11th. So keep your eye on things. If we see a crossover going up, just keep in mind that our 2-day chart is still in a confirmed up move going up, as is the weekly on TLT. So you might have a jumping in point for an up trade on bonds if things keep going up for the week. What do we see going on gold on the weekly chart going into our second week of up movement? Didn't have enough this last week to give us a weekly vertical crossover going up. Shaping up so far this week to look like it might occur, but we've literally seen that happen for like the last 5 weeks, and then it pulls back from a crossover on the price percent oscillator. Now remember, oscillators need movement in order to oscillate, and when you have it shagging back and forth, it doesn't make for good, strong movement. Derivative oscillators losing downward momentum, price percent oscillator, at least for the first day of the latest 5-day candle, crossing over going up. What do we see on the 2-day chart? We see it bouncing off the red signal line, derivative oscillator increasing some upward momentum, but we see basically a red hammer. Now, it is not a solid red, which means, again, still tending up, but a bit of a pullback from the prior green 2-day candle. And as we dig to the deepest on our 4-hour chart, we saw stronger up movement in the morning than the afternoon. Derivative oscillator losing momentum. Price percent oscillator has gone flat. So we'll continue to keep our eye on things on gold and see if and when gold flips over on that weekly chart to some sustained up movement, or when we can start trusting our 4-hour chart again. And it has gotten very untrustworthy, hasn't it? Because most of last year, it was a total trading chart. That has not happened in gold as of late. Folks, that's where we are as we end the day on Monday, going to Tuesday the 17th. Please check out the links to our page where you can purchase both pre-order the book and you can buy all of the trader journals that you want. They're spiral bound. They are beautiful cardstock fronts and backs, beautiful pages, all printed 8.5 by 11. Everything you need to document everything you're learning and put yourself on an acceleration growth. All my best friends, God bless from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.